Over the years, boxers have been found guilty of all sorts of crimes, ranging from murder and sexual assault to robbery and kidnapping. What went wrong for these boxing celebrities to commit such heinous crimes? But regardless of whether they committed serious crimes or big mistakes, their acts have resulted in a greater punishment: prison. Can you believe that shocking crimes and dark secrets were hiding behind all that glory? Let us talk about the boxers who exchanged their gloves for handcuffs. First, let us discuss Clifford Etienne. Have you heard of Francois Botha, Nikolai Valuev, or Mike Tyson? Clifford fights with them, as well as other boxing heavyweights. At one time, he was punching these guys with all of his strength. Clifford was born into a poor family on 9th of March 1970 in Louisiana. He was a voracious reader and a self-described nerd when he was young. You may wonder how this bookish child became a prisoner. He joined the football squad in high school and appeared to have a bright future. Prominent universities, including LSU, Nebraska, Texas A&M, and Oklahoma, recruited him. His promising college football career ended when he received a 40-year prison term for armed robbery, which he committed at a shopping mall during his final year. He switched from playing football to boxing while in jail. He was a part of the Louisiana prison boxing squad known as the Gunslingers, and reportedly had a 30-0 record. After serving 10 years in jail, Etienne was freed in 1998 for his good conduct. He quickly became a professional boxer. With 29 professional matches under his belt, he has 21 wins via knockout, 4 losses, and 2 draws. In the early years of this century, Clifford was so good that people were constantly comparing him to Joe Frazier and George Foreman. Clifford's life took a terrible turn in August of 2005. He broke into a check-cashing shop in Baton Rouge and stole more than $1,900. In a desperate attempt to flee, he attempted to hijack a car. He successfully hijacked another car that had 2 kids before crashing it. Etienne attempted to shoot the cops when they arrived, but his gun jammed. The cops took him into custody on suspicion of robbery, attempted second-degree murder, and cocaine-induced kidnapping. He was found guilty of several counts and given a staggering 160-year prison term. However, by June 2006, his sentence had been lowered to 105 years without the possibility of parole. If you're enjoying the video so far, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. It's just a small click for you, but for our community, it's a huge leap. Next, we'll discuss the case of James Butler, also known as the Harlem Hammer. Following a loss, he delivered a sucker punch at his rival, leading to his ban from the sport. Richard Grant defeated James Butler in a unanimous decision, but the real spectacle was the aftermath. Butler was so upset by his loss that he threw a sucker punch at his opponent after the match that made headlines. As a result, James was charged with second-degree assault and had to spend 4 months of imprisonment at Rikers Island. These days, this is the main reason people remember him. James Butler fought 25 times professionally, first as a super middleweight and then as a light heavyweight. He won 20 of his matches via knockout. On October 27, 2004, police took him into custody for the murder of Sam Kellerman. Kellerman had been a close buddy of Butler and a well-known sports writer for more than a decade. Kellerman had been living with Butler. The murder occurred on October 12, 2004. The victim's suggestion that James find another place to stay infuriated James, who then committed the act before setting the apartment on fire. To escape a jury trial and a minimum 34-year sentence, the former boxer entered a guilty plea. He pleaded guilty to charges of arson and voluntary manslaughter. He was given a sentence that included a fine of around $40,000 and 29 years and 4 months in prison. We now delve into Dale Crow's story. This man, dubbed the Crow, had a way of knocking people out in the ring with his strong blows. Southpaw Dale Crow was a former tough man champion. In his most remarkable fight, he permanently damaged his opponent. Who was that unfortunate soul? It was none other than Greg Page, former WBA heavyweight champion. The March 2001 fight was infamously one of the most poorly organized ever. In the last moments of the battle, Crow threw an unstable Page into the ropes, causing a terrible whiplash that led to a brain bleed. Soon after, he went into a coma. He was not attended to by a doctor or qualified medical personnel for over 20 minutes before being taken to the hospital in an ambulance. Things went worse on the operation table when he had a stroke. His left side was paralyzed, and he was confined to a wheelchair for the rest of his life. In the beginning of 2006, Dale Crowe was taken into custody for a murder that had taken place 4 years before. His friend, Cincinnati resident Frank Branham, was the victim. His body was discovered in a garbage can. Dale faced charges of aggravated robbery, aggravated murder, and engaging in corrupt activities. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison after being found guilty. Professional boxer Avtandil Kurtzidze from Georgia was sentenced to 10 years in prison. He may appear small at 5'4", but don't let that deceive you. He's far from a pushover, having won 33 of his 37 professional fights. In addition to being the IBO champion in 2011, he was the 2017 WBO middleweight champion. He has competed at the highest level of professional boxing and is a world-class champion. He defeated Tommy Langford in April 2017, paving the way for a thrilling battle against Billy Joe Saunders. This major battle was set to take place in London on July 8, 2017. On May 14, 2017, they officially announced the fight. Before the challenger left for training in America, the two had a humorous news conference. However, on June 8, 2017, the federal authorities in New York apprehended Earthquake Herds and others. Just 1 month before the fight, they were accused of being members of a violent criminal gang. Herds in particular were said to be the main enforcers. Prosecutors in New York accused him of conspiring to commit wire fraud and racketeering in September 2018. The court convicted him the next year and sentenced him to 10 years in prison, plus 2 years of supervised release. This sentence basically ended Kurtzidze's boxing career. As a result, he would never fight Saunders. The timing was even worse when he was attacked by members of a rival gang at a Brooklyn correctional facility precisely 1 month earlier. While incarcerated in New Hampshire, Kurtzidze reportedly felt unhappy with both his new surroundings and his fellow prisoners. In 2022, Kurtzidze's attorneys successfully appealed for a reduced term, leading to his release from prison. Kurtzidze's arrest in 2017 resulted in more than 4 years behind bars. Professional boxer Gervonta Davis might receive a 7-year prison sentence, which stands in sharp contrast to the rest of us who might choose to ignore minor issues. This is a difficult break for someone who is now regarded as one of the finest boxers in the world. Davis, who was born in November 1994, has held the WBA lightweight and super featherweight titles since October 2020 and 2019, respectively. Gervonta Davis is not only a skilled boxer but a knockout machine with a 95.8% knockout-to-win ratio. Davis began boxing at the age of 5, and during his stellar amateur career, he won the Golden Gloves in 2012 and Junior Olympic Gold. In February 2013, he made a splash by easily winning his first pro fight, kicking off a skyrocketing career. Despite his success in the ring, he struggles to follow the same rules as everyone else. He has experienced a number of legal issues. He was charged with assaulting a friend who was confined to a wheelchair in September 2017, but the case was later withdrawn after they came to terms in court. He was charged with domestic abuse in February 2020. He was accused on 14 counts in March 2021 following his Lamborghini SUV's collision with a Toyota, which was stopped at a red light, and his subsequent escape from the scene.